Welcome to Staring at the Lights with Rob, Tom and Ethan.
All three.
Hello.
All three of us.
Back in the studio.
Back in the regular studio,
The real studio.
The real one that we use.
Not the cupboard at work.
So this week we've had Double or Nothing, the first pay-per-view from All Elite Wrestling. Massive success, I think most would say.
It was mint. Yeah.
We all watched it live. I think I watched it on Fight TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used Fight as well. Did we all use Fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was like... I mean, it's the first time in probably about 4 or 5 years I paid 15 quid for a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and
true.
it felt worth it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Not often that happens, is it?
The $9.99 a month one, it doesn't even feel worth it. Even WrestleMania, I didn't feel like it were worth it.
No, I forget about it because it's just like I forget that I'm paying it.
Yeah, yeah, you do. It's just one of them.
This was like an actual I'm going out my way to find it and pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not just something that comes out your bank every month.
Felt horrible at first. I was horrible. Banging your details in, just being like, oh, that's 15 quid. That's minging. That's a meal out, that.
It was good though. They had it on ITV4 over here in England on the sort of the buy-in sort of pre-show stuff.
See how does that? Because I was thinking, how does that work? Because obviously, the big thing about it being on ITV over here is like you want to see it succeed.
Yeah.
And I was looking to try and buy it on the TV player app, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just bought it on Fight. But will that still be like registering ITV somewhere? I don't know, because I was just wanting to make it as as much of a statement as possible. So push it in
on ITV box office website, it directed you to where to go to buy it through them.
All right.
So if you had Sky, you had to click on this link and go somewhere else. If you had Virgin, you clicked on this link, then it would say go through TV player, and then you can watch it and stream it and everything like that. And then they had it on. It was announced like the week before it's going to be on Fight as well.
Yeah,
over here. So it was definitely.
You see, World of Sport's been cancelled because of it.
It doesn't surprise me because the TV channel over here is going to be ITV for
wicked.
All Elite, which is good. I don't know what. I'm guessing ITV1, but midnight or something, or when it will be on. I don't know.
Can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be wicked.
It's gonna be great. But let's talk about the actual event then. So the 21-man casino battle royal.
The buy-in.
Yeah. Quite interesting. Quite good.
I didn't watch it.
Hangman Page kind of returned after that match that he'd had with Pac was cancelled, but then he had it at WrestleGate the week before. It's good to see some good.
Great to see Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, Jimmy Havoc was really good in there.
Yeah. Joey Janela stapled that lit cigarette to his forehead, didn't he?
Nice.
Like that was so good.
Love that.
Like it was amazing. Because I watched the battle royal after. Like I watched it the next day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't watching it live. I think we were all watching Alan Partridge, weren't we?
I think we were watching Alan Partridge at that point.
But yeah, it was wicked.
Partridge says it all.
But yeah, there were loads of good stuff. It was nice to see Tommy Dreamer floating about.
Yeah.
Cookie tin in people's heads.
I saw the clip, the highlights in the actual show, but I didn't watch the actual match itself.
I think by all accounts, Orange Cassidy stole the show with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Hangman.
I saw him doing his little like
his lazy kicks with his hands in his pockets. It's quite funny that.
It is quite funny.
I always like.
He's really over with it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm putting no effort in, and it's like really over.
Yeah.
He's kind of what Ambrose's character should have been in WWE. Do you know what I mean? Like I think he's just got this kind of like James Dean, I'm too cool for this shit, like bad boy attitude. But then he's got this like I don't give a fuck, and it's just this kind of like funny thing. But it works. It's like it doesn't infuriate like purists. It just seems to work somehow. So I don't know.
I've seen the kip up he does with his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
It's a good little spot. That it's quite good.
Who else was in it? Any other big names?
I couldn't tell you, mate.
A load of Rajis.
There was loads. There was Dustin Thomas, was in it? The guy with no legs.
Oh yeah, I've seen him.
He eliminated
The
Sean
guy with
Spears.
no legs.
Yeah, he's like legitimately got no legs.
Why
He's
is
like a
he wrestling?
619.
Why is he
With his
wrestling?
stumps.
He's really good actually.
He's like Zach Gowen.
Just beat the shit
times
out of
two.
him, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, you
double
think,
Zach Gowen.
You think, but I mean, he's got that upper body strength. If he got hold of you and got you on the ground,
Nah, but I'd just boot him in the face. I don't believe for a minute that he eliminated anybody.
He eliminated Ty Dillinger or Sean Spears.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were in it.
Yeah.
Oh, grim.
What a joke!
Because people were like kicking off about that, like the sort of.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. I know wrestlers shouldn't care about who was going over and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But if I were backstage and they went,
It's rough, innit?
"There's a man with no legs about who's going to eliminate you 3 minutes in," I'd be like, "No, he's not."
Especially when you
Because realistically,
Yeah.
if I go hard way, how is he going to? He's not be able to eliminate me in a shoot
Yeah.
fight.
especially when you've quit.
Just throw him.
the largest company in the world with a guaranteed paycheck to try and make your name out there.
Yeah.
And you're getting jobbed out after being in the ring for 3 minutes. I mean,
because they made a big deal about him being in the Battle Royal. They did the big reveal with the 10 of Diamonds card that he picked out and stuff, and he better
be getting a receipt. He better be getting something good out of that.
Well, he's not signed. He's not signed to them. He hasn't signed to AEW. So I don't know what's
his name's shit as well. Sean Spears.
Is that his real name?
I don't know, but it's shit. His name's SS. Can you imagine having that in the back of your trunk?
Yeah,
everything about it is just shit. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Please stop it. Just call yourself I don't know, 10 Dillinger or something like that. 10 Derringer. I don't know. It's like just anything but SS.
That's
God almighty. Maybe
if you're going to call yourself SS, at least go all in and get like a fucking Gestapo coat.
Mate, Walter's already got that covered.
Oh, yeah, true.
Sound.
Second match was Kip Sabian against Sammy Guevara.
You're really big on Kip Sabian, aren't you?
It was a really good match.
Yeah, love him. Yeah. I think he's fucking mint. Always has been. I was saying to you two that if I had my own company, he would probably be my champion.
He would be your first champion.
I've got it written down in a book somewhere when I was like fantasy booking.
He is really good. He's really good.
I think he's
not a lot of really indie sort of British stuff really give him much airtime, did they? Or really book him for anything. So he was in World of Sport for a little bit. Did he do something in World of Sport?
I didn't watch any of World of Sport, so I wouldn't even know. I know Grado were there, but that's about it. A lot of people were saying that the crowd weren't. It's not like WWE where you get the quote unquote enhancement talent match or whatever it is, or the guys people don't really know too well.
Yeah.
But the crowd were just, regardless of who it was, I think the attitude in the arena was just really good.
We talked about this on,
we talked about this on the last show, saying about how it could have been a really poisonous crowd, just smarks, just chanting their own thing, trying to get themselves over.
Yeah,
but I think people genuinely do care, and they're just like, this just has to work, 'cause it's the last chance.
Well, I think it was a case of all the fans that were there were like, well, we want this to be a success, so everyone's gonna
boo the heels, cheer the faces, kind of stuff. You needed a bit of that, but for all accounts, a very, very, very good match.
Yeah, it was very good.
Nice one.
The first match on the main show was SoCal Uncensored against Strong Hearts.
Now, the problem I have with SoCal Uncensored is I just immediately think TNA. I don't think these were the right guys to open the card. And I'm no shame on them because I love Christopher Daniels. We've seen him a few times. Frankie Kazarian's awesome. They're amazing. But I think for a company that's starting out as the WWE successor or like opponent, you don't want to be leading on your front foot with TNA guys. Because that's what they are, TNA guys. Let's face it. Even though they've been away from TNA for a long time, it's like you look at it and think, all I can see is just that Impact logo, and it's just it would have probably been better off starting it with maybe I don't know, maybe maybe even I'd probably had the Young Bucks open it personally, but it's whatever.
Or
whatever
even having the Kip Sabian and Sammy Guevara match as the main sort of first match. Sorry, the opener, and then SoCal Uncensored was kind of closing the pre-show. Yeah, but they've kind of been there at the start of the whole launch of AEW, though, haven't they? Those three.
And you've got.
And they've always been on. They've been on being in the elite every week, aren't they? As well. So
some of the biggest names in the American independent scene, really. So fair play to them. The crowd loved it. The crowd ate it up. But it's just for me, I see them and I just kind of think low rent. And I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy because I respect the hell out of him. But I do see it and I go yeah, I don't know. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was a good match. It's just to be the first match on the card. I'm hyped. I'm pumped. I'm coming into it, and then it's SoCal Uncensored. Yeah, I feel like I'm in Donny Dome. Brilliant. But nah, decent match.
Decent match.
Nice spots in it. Everyone worked their arse off.
Yeah.
What? I don't know who the guys who, when the lights all went off, that was this match, right?
That was the end of this match, wasn't it?
Geezer with the beard. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, it was.
Who is that?
This was the
guy with the mask.
Super Smash Bros. Came in, wasn't it?
Were it?
Is that what they're called?
That was this match, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it's the only other tag team match on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it were. Yeah, so Super Smash
SoCal
Bros.
Uncensored won.
Yep.
And then they just appeared.
Lights went out.
The lights went out for quite a long time.
Yeah.
They appeared, then all the minions came in.
Yeah.
And just started.
Yeah.
Beating the crap out of people.
You were quite
mental
for that, weren't you? And then you put on something on because loads of people were on the Twitter.
Who are
we were
guys?
We were sort of live tweeting.
Well, they were chanting who are you? And all
this I didn't know.
And they were sort of like, who was this? I'd not seen them before, but Ethan.
Fair enough.
Knew who they were, and then that's when you put that tweet on, didn't you? Saying so everyone who doesn't know who these are the hardest working people who have never got a break.
Awesome. Good on them.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Is Evil Uno and Player Dose, I want to say his name is.
Yeah.
The 2 Canadian wrestlers, tag team wrestlers. Evil Uno used to be Player Uno, then he had a heel turn and became Evil Uno.
That's cool.
Just mint tag team wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like really fucking good.
You were saying there was an issue with their visas, weren't there? That's why they can't wrestle in America.
Yeah, with them being Canadian, a lot of the time, a lot of indie wrestlers that are not American will travel to America but not disclose that they're working.
Right.
They'll just say they're visiting, and then they'll wrestle at the same time. Who?
I know Cassius only used to do it in different countries.
So I was saying to Rob, there's a video, there's the airline, like an airline show in Australia where he went to Australia with the PWG title, and they figured out that he was a wrestler and they held him in customs for quite a long time because he wasn't there on a working visa.
So he said he wasn't working, didn't he? He said he was
just travelling, which happened to the Super Smash Bros. So they got banned from America for quite a long time. It happened to Speedball Bailey, that's why he's in England and places like that, because he can't wrestle in America anymore, which was bad for him because he was in PWG especially. Speedball was like pushing like to the moon. It was over like Rover, and then that happened. They figured out that he was illegally working, so now he's banned for quite a long time. So I was saying to Rob, I don't know how long their ban was, but unless some big billionaire AEW lawyers have got involved and sorted them visas out and got them there, maybe.
Well, they're saying the next show might be in Toronto. There's talks, maybe not the next show, but
the next one's in Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah, but
the All Out is there's Fighter Fest before that, and then there's Fight for the Fallen as well, which is I think before that, or that might be after.
They're in discussions for a show in Toronto, though. I've heard.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool. But
Progress are in Toronto in like August.
Good on them.
Well, one of the things, just sort of drifting away from that, is that they were saying about how I saw Cody sort of saying, you know what, $50. Which is what it was in America is a lot, and we understand that, and we understand people want a good show for that, but we're not going to be putting a pay-per-view on every month, and when we do, it's going to be that next step up. So
I'd rather have that.
We feel it's going to be worth the money.
Yeah, I'd rather have that.
Because at the minute we're like that with WWE, where there's one every month, and you're like, I don't care about Fastlane.
Yeah,
I'm not bothered about this one.
The older and more depressed you
and
get,
stuff like that.
A month feels like a week.
It does feel like a
and it's just like and especially when you're not giving high quality content, it just feels like another show. Like I honestly could not really spot the difference between an episode of Raw or your average non-Big Four pay-per-view. Yeah. Like they're just, I mean, even the sets are the same. Whereas like if you look at AEW, they're throwing everything at it.
Well, what for me, what separates a decent pay-per-view is when they just have it in a regular building that they run a Raw or SmackDown on. What makes things like and they do it as well. Obviously, with SummerSlam is always at the Barclays Center, but that's kind of different because it's got a home almost. But that's what makes like Royal Rumble better, is that it's at somewhere like Chase Field, or it's at the Alamo Dome, or it's somewhere a 50,000, 60,000 place, and then Mania gets 85 to 100 or whatever. And that's what kind of lets the other ones down, is it's just in the same arena that you run, and that's what makes them not feel special. Yeah. So he's kind of right, Cody, when he's like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it will be special, and it won't be every month. There'll be a reason behind every match that's in there. Hopefully they won't just be like added in a promo segment before the pay-per-view starts or in the kickoff show. You know, like we've seen one with like, I remember a couple of years back when it was like Rusev and Jinder Mahal, and then they just were like some promo and then just went and had a match. I'm like,
nothing.
There's nothing to this. There's no story to this at all. It's just filling time, and we don't rather you have the better quality and it goes longer, or even the pay-per-view's not as long as what we think it's going to be, but all the matches are quality. Don't throw some shit in there just because it's I've booked this place for 5 hours and we're going to get every hour we want.
In a lot of ways, like you've got to kind of look at it as well. In a post WWE Network time, do you reckon WWE could even sell a pay-per-view that isn't Big Four anymore? Because I wouldn't buy it
if it wasn't on the network.
Like, honestly, it'd be a waste of money. Can you imagine if WWE said, "Oh yeah, Fastlane, $50"?
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
I don't think anyone would buy it.
They do still sell them, don't they, on like box office and that?
I don't know, because
I think they do.
With having the network, I don't know.
Too many.
And they push the network to such an extent where you're like, look, if you get this now, this is free, and the next one's free. And
and if you opt out and they're not back in, we'll give you another one free.
Like I cancelled my network subscription, and then like a week later, I got an email saying, "Do you want to come back in and you can have 3 months for £1?" I'm like, yeah, all right, why not? You're gonna want it.
Yeah, of course you are.
It's mad, isn't it? But I agree with what Cody's doing. It's 100% right, and you want to be able to pay the talent. You want to be able to use pyro. Yeah. You want to create new sets, and at the end of the day, like you enjoy it more if you've paid for it. Like I enjoyed it more by paying for it. Like if you just get it for free or if you just pay a monthly subscription, the amount of stuff on Netflix I take for granted because I just pay it. It's like it's free.
Probably, the amount of stuff you probably take on the network that's on the WWE network for 100%. Granted. There's some great documentaries on there that I just think, I'll watch that another day. I'll watch that another day.
WCW Saturday Night. It's the one. So much good stuff there.
Let's get back to Double or Nothing then. So the next match was originally it was the triple threat match with Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Kylie Ray, and then Awesome Kong came out and made it a 4-way.
That was a mint pop. That
she got a massive pop. It was good to see her. I think she was really good as well.
Awesome Kong.
Yeah, I thought Brandy was going to be the fourth one, and then she brought her out. So it was a good
really bait and switch because she came out and got like changed into her gear or whatever.
Yeah.
She loves a costume change, Brandy. Which we're all thankful for.
Absolutely.
But then when she announced Kong, it was like the last time I saw her was on Glow. She was one of the characters in Glow.
Yes.
She was what was the name of her character? Was it she was basically like the prostitute. What was her name? Welfare Queen.
Yeah.
She was Welfare Queen. Brilliant. She was amazing. But just seeing her back, because she's like genuinely, like this is when back in the day TNA was outside of Japan the only good place to watch women's wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like you had Gail Kim, Awesome Kong. Who else? Like Gail King and Awesome Kong, I suppose. But those two were great. Like they absolutely threw it down.
Yeah.
And to see her come out and kind of get back into it was amazing.
It wasn't a bad match either. Went just over 10 minutes.
I thought it was good.
It was all right. It was a pretty good match. I think the right person won.
Yeah. I think I was really impressed with Nyla Rose because like they didn't even mention the fact that she's transgender.
Yeah. It's not an issue, is it? Really?
It's not at all.
In this day and age, it's not
if it was WWE,
I think they would make a point of
getting
it.
thrown around. Whereas with them, they were just like, she's a female wrestler.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She's really, really good. I've heard a lot of complaints about Kylie Ray.
Which one was she?
Being a Bailey ripoff.
Oh, fucking hate that.
I really liked her. Like, I liked her in ring stuff.
Wound me up.
I didn't like the whole, I'm smiley, I'm happy. It's like you're fighting.
Yeah.
What's that all about? But she's a great worker. I thought she was really good.
Yeah.
Better than Bailey.
The next match was in fact actually, this was the tag match where Super Smash Bros came in. It was the best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent
Right,
Beretta.
yeah, I totally forgot.
And then, this was that match.
Right, got
I thought this was quite good actually. Did we see Angelico at Progress Show?
See on deck then.
We've seen Angelico.
Yeah, it was at that Progress Show at Academy.
Yeah, we've seen him somewhere. I don't know where.
I'm sure it was that one.
We have seen him wrestle.
Yeah, they did look like creator wrestlers though.
They did look
like The thing is, everyone in that ring was wearing black and green. It was just like a bit
much.
You just sort of thought maybe one of you's got in the away.
I think with the thing with Angelico is because he's got like the sort of shorts with the tights underneath, and it's all like lime green and black, and then there's the gloves and the long sleeves, and it's all just a bit like you say, it's all a bit creator wrestling.
Like working men's club, like this kid's gone and got his gear sorted out. He wants to be Jeff Hardy meets AJ Styles, but he is great. He's a great fucking
really
wrestler.
Good match.
Yeah,
really good match.
All of them were great. I don't think it really, for me, it didn't negatively impact any of them, but it didn't do any of them any particular favors. I thought like they didn't exactly shine fully through. Like I don't know. I was just kind of like wasn't really too invested in this one.
No.
It'd be nice to see Chuck and Trent though, because again, they're two guys that have never really had a big opportunity.
Yeah. Outside of like PWG,
outside of PWG, like even Trent, Chuck Taylor won the PWG title. About 6 months ago now, maybe a year ago.
Right.
Like obviously he's been wrestling there. He's like a veteran of PWG. Always like the comedy matches, always lost, but then he got onto like a winning streak.
Yeah.
And I think he beat Ricochet for the title before Ricochet went to WWE. That's pretty much, I think, his biggest claim to fame. Really, is that PWG title run. He's
so good.
Like his finisher, he didn't do it in the match, but he has like he's called the Awful Waffle, and it's like he's mint. It's like a pop-up pile driver.
Right.
Almost.
Okay.
It's like an inverted pop-up sit-out pile driver, and it's one of the most brutal-looking moves ever, but he didn't do it in the match, so I hope he gets like a singles chance to wrestle and do it. But yeah, same as Super Smash Bros. I'm just glad they've got a chance to kind of show what they can do on a big stage, because they are both mint. Like, and they're good comedy wrestlers as well. Like, I don't like comedy wrestling very often, but them two do it really well. Like
classic.
Chuck Taylor used to wrestle in Shikara quite a lot.
Yeah.
And he'd do like invisible grenades and stuff. Like he'd throw an invisible grenade up and like the fire ant, like fire ant and green ant, they'd all be wrestling against him.
That classic gif.
And they'd all be like running around it and like holding off it, and then like he'd put it in his trousers and like blow himself up and stuff like that. And it's like it's daft, but he does it really like he's a fine line between good wrestling and comedy, and he walks it really, really well.
It's that gif where he slides across the apron and
it's like the thumbs up.
It's like it's wicked. That I love that. It's so good.
I was saying to you two, like I don't know if I hope he gets a chance to do his chant where it's just him shouting really loud, like a really long drawn out chant. Like there was one time when he wrestled like Seth Rollins with his Tyler Black at the time, and it's just him going, "Let's go, Chuck Taylor! You're the best wrestler in the world. You're in way better shape than Tyler Black." And he's like, none of the crowd are involved, and he just like kind of looks around and nobody's getting involved. And he's like, "All right, fuck it," just carries on wrestling. Like it's just like little things like that. It's really, really funny.
I think it was more on me at this point because I was like starting to fade by this point. I think I fell asleep on the back end of this match actually, and then I woke up like
it was a long show. It was.
Yeah.
It
was 4 hours.
Yeah, it was a bit long.
I wasn't expecting it to be that long.
No,
I thought it had gone shorter. But no.
The 6-woman tag match. This was the one with the Japanese wrestlers in.
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of that and then pretty much immediately went.
No idea what happened.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, what am I watching here?
Yeah. It was entertaining. People love Joshi wrestling, but it's just not my thing. For me. Really.
No.
The crowd were into it.
Yeah, they loved it.
The crowd were really into it, and it was good seeing Aja Kong again. I was just saying to you two earlier. I remember seeing Aja Kong in a WWE Survivor Series match at like 95 or something. I think she was like, she got like the winning pin to eliminate.
She's nice, isn't it?
She's definitely like a veteran,
proper like old guard, isn't she as well?
Veteran,
definitely
she's
is.
Really good.
So then this is the first of the three. It's the first of the three main events really. Cody versus Dustin.
Honestly, match of the night. What a match!
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It went 22 minutes, but it seemed like it was longer.
I was just waiting for him to finish it so fucking Dustin could get some help because he was pissing blood like a don't know what.
The minute where it's like it cuts to his head and it is just fountaining out of his forehead, and you're just like, I thought there's no way he's going to be able to keep his like marbles together here.
No.
He looked knackered as well. To be fair,
I think
tired.
that happened. I think there was a few little spots where they wobbled a little bit, and I think there was a bit when they were doing that superplex off the top.
He puts his foot on the ground to kind of steady himself as he falls down, and he didn't take away from it because my philosophy has always been like wrestling should have botches in it because it's a fight.
Well,
like,
it come across as
to look clean.
Yeah, it didn't come across as like, oh, that was a botch. It came across as, oh, they've given
janky.
everything. They've given so much. They're just,
did.
you know, these like two sort of big, almost like boxers slugging it out, and they've just ruining out our energy throwing these.
One of the best moments was when JR called it he called it a crossroads, but it's a final cut.
Yeah,
it's when he's like, there's blood all over the mat, and it's all over Dustin, and he just picks him up, and it's the cleanest like final cut I've ever seen. It's such a good move, and I'm just like, I wish he'd have saved that for a bit later on. It was amazing, but like that to me is one of my favorite like moves of all time. It should be a finisher, but like the visual because all the blood sprayed out as he spun him round. It was it looked amazing.
It was really, really good. I loved it. I was saying to you two, like, I think behind the Shawn Rick WrestleMania retirement match, I think storytelling wise, it's one of the second for me in terms of like, just the entire thing. Like, and again, that match could have happened anywhere, and it didn't even need any build up. Like, it didn't need to make any of their promo videos. They did because everybody knows that story. Everybody knows the two brothers. Like, everybody gets it. You didn't need any of that, and the fact that they did it, like them videos, the promo packages, just made it even more special. And then I thought Cody'd get colour. I didn't think it'd be the other way around. But like as it started to get towards the end, and it was like almost. It was like they were legitimately knackered. Like Dustin was definitely fucked. Like he knew he needed to get home, but they didn't cut it short, which is like props to him. I reckon
it felt like they did bring it home a bit earlier. And the only reason I say that is because there was a bit where they're both laying out and they're counting, almost getting to a double count out. And Cody gets up and says something to Hebner, and then he picks Dustin up and then does a crossroads and then pins him. And that's the only part where I thought it seemed rushed because what you'd expect in that situation is for them to maybe have a little bit more back and forth, and then Cody hits a finisher on him.
Yeah,
that was the only bit where I thought, because there was a little bit where in that sort of superplex where he tries to sort of make it, as steady as he could because he was just completely out of it. I think there was a little bit where they were setting it up, and I think you could hear Dustin say, "You're gonna have to help me because I'm just gone."
There's always that thing as well of like, as an in-ring professional, sometimes if you're putting something together, And it is kind of like putting together like a painting or a movie or something.
Yeah,
Maybe you see it and you go, we don't need to go anymore. This is the end. This is where it needs to end. If we go anymore, we're just going to spoil what we've done here. So it could have just been a case of Cody. Because, I mean, Cody's running the show. He is the Vince McMahon in this. He could just go, I'm calling it now. Let's just go because that's it. So and then end it there. But I don't know. To me, it felt
fine. It felt
rounded.
Perfect, like drawn out. It wasn't too long. Wasn't too short.
Did you hear?
Brandy played a good part in it as well. With the that's where he says he got the cut from. Was that she hit him with the cane and the little wolf on the cane
bollocks
hit him. He's
dug a gouge out of his head.
100% bladed.
But I enjoyed Hebner throwing her out. You were saying now you like the whole double spin with the hands and the wind up.
That's my favourite move in referee wrestling is the wind up ejection. It's the best. Now, the one thing, and again, it's nitpicking, but the cut the blood came from when he hit the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
But there was still a pad on the turnbuckle. There was still a bit of foam.
There was green foam underneath.
Green foam surrounding it. And obviously, I was like, I wouldn't have cut you open if you'd have hit it. But okay, I'll let it slide. I'll let it move past it.
Didn't with the entrances. I didn't think it was needed to sort of hit the sledgehammer, hit the throne with a sledgehammer, weird. And it was obviously it's a shot at WWE and Triple H. I just thought I don't think we need that. We're not here. We're not. It's not about them.
I just thought it looked strange.
Yeah.
It just looked a bit corny the way he hit it, and it the smoke puffed out of it, and it all crumbled in set place. I was like, if anything, just give him a legit, make it out of fucking plasterboard or cinder blocks or something, and just give him a legit sledgehammer and let him crack it and let it break. But the way that it hit the middle of it, the smoke puffed out the sides, and then the back of it fell over, and I was like, that's not where you hit it. Why would that happen?
There's a video actually on the Being the Elite behind the scenes where he's practicing it, and it falls apart, and then it's all just rigged to fall apart.
I couldn't quite tell if Cody's entrance gear was Beauty and the Beast, or whether it was George Washington.
So I think it was kind of
it weren't.
I saw that online.
Saw that online. It was like a Japanese video game.
Because I was like,
yes, actually, I've seen the artwork of what they were designing it against.
I it's one of them things where I think they could have done it more. They could have still done a bit of a fuck you, maybe done it a little bit more subtly. And when he came out, I thought, maybe he's doing a whole George Washington type thing, like Apollo Creed, but I guess if it's sorted out online.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get the reference with the skulls. It wasn't until I saw that cross on the back where I was like, I don't need this here. It's not about them. It's about you and your moment.
I like the old tension between them.
Yeah, I think it's good that something was said because Triple H is giving all this pissant shit, and he's just you know what, you with your big fancy entrances, no one ever sticks it to you. I'm just going to stick it to you because I can say what I want. Vince Russo thinks it is.
Yeah, we're going to get onto this later, but let's talk about it now. Vince Russo says that AEW and WWE are in bed together, and
it honestly wouldn't surprise.
I think it's a load of bollocks.
I don't think it's true.
Would not surprise me at all. I think the fact that they mentioned Sami Zayn mentioned them on
because apparently that was kind of in the script as well.
Yeah.
Do you know why I doubt it? Because WWE being a publicly traded company, if Vince has got stock in another company that's similar, isn't that technically insider trading?
I wouldn't say they got stock, but I just reckon they're just working
a working relationship,
just a friendship between them.
I don't think so. I mean, personally, I don't think so, but anything's possible, really.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
Didn't Triple H said if it's a shoot, it's a work, or I don't know the quote. It's if it looks like a work, seems like a work, sounds like a work, it's definitely a work.
I don't know. I'm not sold on that. I don't think.
Well, did he say everything in wrestling is a work?
I just think I don't know until we start to see it directly affecting WWE's take-ins. Then anything's game. But if it does affect WWE negatively, then you'll know it's pretty much because at the end of the day, you have got billionaire backing from another side, and it's what billionaire wants to share, especially Vince McMahon. And I mean, maybe it's just he's crazy and he just thinks oh yeah, I'm going to put some I'm going to send some non-admitted money over to this place here or whatever, and they don't have to know it's me or whatever. I don't know. It's anything's possible, but I still think it takes too much away from the work that Cody and the Bucks and all these guys have done to say that it's just WWE in disguise. I wanted, just before we leave the Rhodes Brothers thing, did you hear about when Dustin was at the post-match press conference and someone said, you had the match of a night, and he was like, really? And then the crowd started chanting and he got a tear in his eye and he's like, honestly, I couldn't have even imagined that I could have a match of a night. He had such little confidence. And you just think honestly, mate, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Because it's just, I don't know, you think he's been in the business for so long and had so many great matches, and just to think his confidence was that in the shitter.
Well, look
so
at his
nice.
last sort of 4 or 5 years in WWE. It's been they've booked him and like made him have this like Tourette's almost, where he's just shouting weird stuff. And they've done this whole thing with R-Truth, and it's just like.
Think of all the other people that are doing it too, though. I mean, the stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's just testament to like, if you're not happy doing what you're doing, just manifest something yourself. Get out of there, because there's not just AEW, WWE. There's New Japan. There's Progress. There's there's any number of places. Ring of Honor, Impact. You could literally there's anywhere you could go and force the hand to give you a better shot at it. Like you look at guys like EC3. Like sat doing nothing.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode, Robert Roode, whatever you want to call him. Like the Revival, all these guys. Nakamura. Like at some point had the potential to be top stars in the world and just immediately crushed.
Yeah, true.
Dobbed out. True. Shit.
Yeah, it is really sad. Let's move on to the tag match then. Young Bucks against Lucha Brothers. This is really the first time I've really seen Lucha Brothers. I know they were in All In a sense, weren't they? But especially Ray Phoenix was.
I always think it's a waste of Pentagon, mate. I think he's a better singles wrestler. Like to me, he's like a top guy, and not that any of the 4 guys in the ring aren't. But I always think like I'd much rather see you against like Jimmy Havoc or something.
Yeah,
just destroying
maybe.
yourself.
It was the match I thought was unbelievable. It was such a good match.
Really good match.
Really good match.
Mint.
Yeah, fantastic.
I liked even the whole sort of Elvis costumes kind of that they had on. I thought was mint.
So good.
There was just so many stuff. There was stuff in it that I literally like bolted apart my seat for. I was like, wow, what the fuck was that?
It was mad, wasn't it?
The
spot after spot.
Yeah, kind of. I think it was a bit where might have been Pentagon actually, where he bounced off the rope onto the middle, back onto the top.
Very good. Very good. Like,
crazy.
It was. I mean, and you some people might look at it and go, it's a spot fest, but everything felt like it was purposeful and had a point.
Yeah. It didn't seem like. It didn't seem, and it's not sort of exactly on the same lines, but you know that match that Ospreay and Ricochet had in Best of the Super Juniors, where that was like. Yeah. And I don't want to sound like Vader, where it was just gymnastics and
Vader
stuff
was
like
right
that.
though.
Where that's more like of a spot fest of all these different bits. It didn't feel like that, but there were a lot of spots that were similar, kind of, the way that they'll bounce off the ropes or whatever, and they'll use the ring like that. But it
feels like everything was still attacking.
It flowed, and it felt like it was part of something rather than we're going to do this and then we're going to move to this. It was all all just flowed and linked up perfectly. So.
It was awesome. Honestly, it was one of
really good match.
It's so hard. Like I know I went off, and I will still say that Dustin and Cody was match of the night, just purely for storytelling. But like it was one of those nights where like every match had something about it where you could go at any point on any other card. This would have been match of the night. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the sort of 3 main matches that closed the show out after the first match. So after sort of Cody and Dustin, you were like, oh man, that was amazing. Fucking hell, it's Young Bucks are next. And then that finished, and you're like, that was amazing. Fucking hell, Jericho's next.
Jericho and Omega, Like, and each of them, like, were great, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Totally different reasons.
Everything about every single match worked well. The high-flying stuff of the Young Bucks, the sort of all-out sort of battle between 2 brothers with that story behind it worked so well. And then the Jericho-Omega match was great. I really enjoyed Jericho's entrance.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
I think they could have maybe made the people who were meant to be him look a little bit more.
I could tell it was Jungle. I was like, "Why is Jungle Boy? Like, what's Jungle Boy coming out for? Have I got these matches wrong?" But like it annoyed me. It wasn't chronological.
Yeah, a bit weird, weren't it?
That was annoying. Because they had the Lionheart, then they had the list, and then they had the light up jacket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you'd have put the light up jacket in the middle.
I think it's because they wanted the light up jacket last, didn't they?
Of course they did.
That's
why. I get it. But
even Jericho's entrance, like, I see ditch the face paint for the American audience because I don't think they would have got it. Like the Japanese are more, you can be a bit more out there.
Yeah.
But like just the way he stood there for like a good 30, 40 seconds, like just not moving until it kicked in, and then he has this kind of like peacock swagger down to the ring.
Yeah, it's
really cool.
I think even obviously you can't use the music that he had in WWE, but and then he uses one of his own songs, but it works so well for him.
Yeah,
it's a proper sort of entrance music, isn't it? Almost.
See, to be honest, almost every Fozzy track is. They're just wrestling entrance themes.
Yeah.
Like there's so many of them, and they're pretty much all the same song. But like that like Judas is perfect for him at the minute.
Yeah.
Like I really dig that tune, I was a bit upset Omega didn't have his One Winged Angel theme song, his Sephiroth theme song he normally has. It's like
that's not like
I don't know what he had.
It's not like tied in with New Japan or anything though, is it? Maybe
Possibly.
I don't know.
Well, I'd say no. It's probably the rights are probably to Square Enix, the Final Fantasy guys, because it is literally just the tune from Final Fantasy. Yeah. But
a great match again. This was more of a for me. It was more of like a brawl kind of match than
I hate his new finisher though.
Awful.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Like use that to set up for the code breaker. Like, I'm totally fine with him using it to fall into a code breaker, but don't finish matches.
I think if he'd have hit it, and Kenny had the angle to sell it like a shotgun blast, but the sell was off, the hit was off, like it just was off.
Just awful.
And it's not a good finisher to begin with, but if you could sell it like a rapid fire spin clash, he's down, he's fully out, like proper fences position laying on the ground, but it just
I think like the kind of point you're getting into as well is that finish or that move would have been good to maybe hit him with it what's it called, Judas elbow,
Judas effect,
hitting him with that. Kenny then kind of stumbles back, bounces into ropes, then comes back for a code breaker. That would be a perfect way of using that.
Yeah, use it as a signature.
Use it as a signature rather than as a finisher.
Concerned no one on the card at any point tapped out, because I thought this was. I mean, I hope that they're not going to. I miss people tapping out. Like, to me, Jericho, just have people tap to your walls of Jericho, mate.
Yeah.
Have people tap to your walls of Jericho. It doesn't make them look weak.
No.
It's they've got caught in the walls of Jericho. Let them tap.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Another good match though. 27 minutes it went.
Good.
Really good match.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was. I think I thought Kenny might have won, but I don't know.
Well, that was the rumour, weren't it, that Kenny was going to win?
But because the Young Bucks went over and Cody went over as well.
I didn't see the Bucks going over. I thought the Bucks were going to lose, obviously, because they're. I just call them the Triple A titles. What do they call it? The Triple R, the Triple R,
something
whatever
like that.
it is.
Yeah, it is the Triple A. We would say that.
No, if all night they're announcing it as
the
like
Triple R,
the Treble R, whatever it is.
Triple
I saw the Bucks dropping them and then Kenny picking up the win. But then you think about it, like they're still building that brand off Jericho, because Kenny's not a name as much as Jericho is in the US.
No.
So it makes sense. And then you have Jericho in your title match with, is it Jericho Adam Page now? Is that what they're going to be building?
Yeah.
And then Moxley Omega, I assume, because you
Yeah.
can spread that into New Japan. Because he came in and they're dragging Omega around outside. And it's not like Omega's just going to let that go.
Yeah, true.
And on that note, John Moxley appears.
Yeah,
Hey.
I genuinely didn't think he would be there.
I weren't thinking about it.
I definitely wouldn't be there.
I didn't think he was there, and I thought he would. I thought he would be part of AEW at some point. I didn't think he'd be this early. And we'll probably touch on him being on Jericho's podcast in a minute, but I think for someone who's done look at the send off he had with WWE, this whole they announced he's not signed a contract so they can kind of control the damage or whatever. Then they do this whole sort of send off. They do this sort of Shield special.
Oh, we love you. Look how special we think you are. Look
please
what
sign
you,
a new
look what
contract.
You could
sign
have.
a new contract, and then,
like he said in that interview with Cole, he's like, I can't be bought. He's like, the $1 million man can't get his way with me.
Yeah,
because I can't be bought, and it's like,
True.
So
brilliant.
The way that he managed to get out and sort of bow out of WWE so gracefully and on what would seem such good terms,
did everything they wanted,
and literally less than a month later, he's appearing at AEW,
top name in the wrestling industry,
and everyone's clamoring after him.
Yep,
that's all everyone's talking about is John Moxley sort of making this entrance.
Yeah.
He was saying on his podcast today that I think one of the things is a lot of people thought that the reason that they've not slapped any sort of 90-day thing on or been really, you can't work here for this or whatever, is because they literally thought he was just going to retire. Or it wasn't going to be part of it. So
he
the little
so
promo video he made.
It could be believed. Yeah.
The little promo video he made of him breaking out of jail.
Yeah.
So he made that in February.
He spent $8,000 of his own money on it.
Yeah, and it was with Nick Mondo.
Sick Nick Mondo.
Sick Nick Mondo made it for him.
Lad.
So he made this thing, and he's like, we're in Vegas and we're filming it all in Vegas, and we're on a soundstage and we're doing all this stuff. And then he said, I got a text from Vince saying, really want to get you in for this tour after Mania, European tour. I think there's something really big we could build on. We can get, you and the Shield boys, you go off, and he was kind of like, well, the European tour after Mania is absolutely brutal. I'm not going to be at Mania, so I don't see the point. And at the minute, I'm tired. I'm committing myself to a film. And he's like, and he's like on the podcast with Jericho I was listening to today. He was like, well, technically I wasn't lying because I was making a film at the time, but I think that's where that rumor came out of like, oh, he's going into acting, he's going to make a film. So they just kind of thought maybe, oh well, he's not going to be in the ring or anything.
Played it well.
He's one of those guys where they've like every time I've listened to something about Ambrose, read about Ambrose, heard interviews with Ambrose, everyone's just like, you can't get into his head. Like, you don't know where he's... Like, they always said, like, backstage, everybody else you kind of get a read on. He'd just, like... He'd be travelling with someone, he'd just get in a car and just leave. Yeah. And he's just, like, not a dick, but he's just, like, very much, like, it explains to people, I'm a kind of lone wolf, I keep myself to myself, I keep in my own head. Some people think I'm a dick, I don't care. Yeah. Like, so he's one of those guys where... You know, I imagine Seth's probably fairly easy to read if he wasn't happy, whereas Dean could just go, I'm not happy, but I'm not going to let you know, I'm just going to fuck you over.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. So he said, like, it was June, July last year where he was like, okay, that's it, I need to get out. And it's after he'd had the elbow thing and he'd come back from that elbow injury, then he had a staph infection and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And he was then going into when they did that sort of, made him look a bit like Bane, didn't they? And they did this whole angle where he wants to go out and say everyone's disgusting and it stinks. Jacket, and he was kind of going back to the writers going, I'm not saying this. This is not me and all. And then, well, Vince wants you to say it, and then we're tagging this on. And then the whole thing with, like, Nia Jax sort of came out of...
well, he said the minute he left, the minute he told them he was leaving, they slapped him with the Nia Jax angle.
Well, he went to them and said, like, are you just trying to bury me? Is this what's happening? And they're like, no, we just think it's going to be really good, and we're hoping you stay. We're going to give you all this kind of thing. But, so apparently there's your meeting with, like... So, like, Vince is there, Triple H is there, Carino's there, Johnny Laurinaitis is there. Then you've got your writers and your agents. And then after the first section of the meeting, the writers leave. Then the meeting carries on. Then the agents leave. And then you get down to this sort of super secret meeting, which is just like Vince, Triple H, and Carino, I think it is. And it was that point where they sort of came in and went, oh, by the way, we're just going to add on the Nia Jax thing. We've got a little addition for you. We're going to get you to do this. And he was like... So he goes like, I knew it was them. I knew it was Vince and Triple H that had come up with that. Yeah. Because it was at the point of, it's just them two now, them three in that room. So we knew that they were doing this to me. He's like, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with putting Nia over and it'd be great. She's a great girl. Why not? But
he says like Vince and Triple H, but you got to think like Triple H probably saw value in him. But what can he really do? Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Triple H can only go so far to getting his father-in-law's ear. Yeah. And it's like, I think he understands how it works more than anyone else, and if anything, like there's probably no beef between Ambrose and Triple H because
I doubt that. Man.
Yeah, it's one of them things. But I mean, he seems to me like, you know, when you get like a convict who's on the back end of his prison stretch, and he's like, I've just got to do what I've got to do until I get out, and then he's got out, and now he's living his fucking best life.
That was one of the things he said. With Jericho was like, I was counting the days down.
Oh, I bet.
I was counting the months down. And then he said, I got to a point where it was like...
He were hardly taking any bumps near the end. He was just working
he said,
super sensible.
He was doing sort of like 6 or... He said, I've got like 6 months left. And he's like, so that's like 15 rows. He's like, I can get through 15 rows. I can do that.
He did like... At one point, he did like a 310-day year, didn't he?
Yeah, something
like
crazy.
310 wrestling nights.
He was just getting frustrated with the creative team, and he really, in the interview with Jericho, really buries the creative team where he's like, it just does not work.
They're morons.
It doesn't work.
They are straight up morons.
Yeah. When he come back from that injury... He said the best thing to do would have been just, you've got whoever it was in the ring, I think it was like Drew and someone in the ring, and then Rollins is going to go up against him. And for my music to hit, and I come out and the pop's absolutely crazy. Yeah. And they were like, he goes, I don't blame Steph, because Steph's just reading, you know, he's just saying what he's been given to say. Yeah, yeah. And Steph's going, so you've got a psychopath in your corner, and I need a lunatic in my corner. Everyone's like, oh shit. And then the music is like, so there's like 4 stages of like crowd reaction. Yeah. Where there's some that are still just listening. Some are going, oh shit, Dean's here. Then the music hits, and then I come out and whatever, and it's like, just fucking play the music. Just play the music and let me go out there. That'll be the pop. That'll be the reaction.
Someone thought they were being clever and wouldn't let their idea go. It's like
it's because everyone has to have their hands in it. Everyone has to have like, I've done that bit.
Over engineering jokes. There's there's like a subreddit called Comedy Necromancy where they take really shit like memes and just remove lines from them or pictures from them to make them actually funny. Yeah. Because if you strip things back, they can be quite good. And that's the whole thing. If you get like a room full of 8 people who think they're the smartest, funniest person on earth, they're all going to keep trying to shoe on their shit in until it just ends up like a big fucking wank soup.
I did think it was funny how he said that he got paid $500 for the Shield Network special. Yeah, it's like, that's what an extra gets for standing in the back and not getting anything. Is like, because I've not even spent it. And then I think Jericho was like, just frame that check and be like, he's like, fucking hell. I just thought it was a joke. He's like, oh, whatever, I'm going. It don't matter.
It doesn't matter at that point, does it?
No. He said when he had that tweet set up to go live at midnight,
brilliant,
like the day of his release on midnight, he said, I woke up that morning after months of being like, he says, like, I don't want to say depression because people deal with that, but it was thinking, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do anything.
100%.
And he said, I just felt free.
He didn't use social media the entire time he was with WWE.
Well, his Twitter account was just, they made me get a Twitter, enjoy.
Yeah.
He didn't follow anybody, he didn't post anything.
It's like, it's the everything about him the entire time he was with WWE, you could see that he wasn't a man who was happy with anything that was going on. He was just playing by the motions. I'll tell you what, he was good when he was the leader of the Shield at the start.
Yeah.
And he was the guy we were like, he's the breakout guy.
Yeah.
But just because of a look.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have long hair, you don't look you don't look like Aquaman.
And what,
so you're not our guy.
No, do you know what got him over though with sort of like Vince and the creative team was he was funny.
Yeah.
And
smart.
He said originally they had no plans for me at all.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything for me to do. And the Shield breaks up and I would say something and it'd be funny because I've just got natural timing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, he's really funny. Right, here's all this scripted stuff. And he's like, but if I say it and I come up with it and it's my natural timing, it's funny. It's not funny when you're writing things for me to say. So, but like you say, he's out there and it's the best thing for him. And look at the reaction
he's
he got.
All over the place
look
now.
at the reaction he got in
snapping
Double
necks and
Nothing.
cashing checks.
Unbelievable. He's he's got this match lined up now with Juice Robinson in New Japan, which is next week. That'll be amazing.
Yep.
I don't think he's ever worked Japan before.
I mean,
he was in
WWE tours, but that's not working in Japan.
No,
really, is
I mean
it?
he's been WWE for 8 years, but before that he wasn't.
In his early days, maybe. I couldn't tell you.
He's got the match with
scene in Japan.
He's got the match now with Joey Janela.
Yeah,
lined up.
Yeah,
Fighter Fest. I think also announced on Fighter Fest is Cody versus Darby Allin. That'd be
that'd be good. Yeah.
But now he's everywhere. He's having a match with Pentagon now.
Yep.
Oh my God! Did you ever see Pentagon's match with Vampiro from Lucha Underground?
Crazy.
That was horrendous.
Really?
Such a bad death match. Mate, you're gonna have to get used to death matches now.
Have to
with the John Moxley podcast.
Yeah,
man.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like there's 2/3 of us that don't like one specific thing.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it?
Right, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll be good. I'm glad that he's all over the place. He's like fucking dog shit a minute, innit? So it'll be good to see him getting the chance to wrestle different styles of matches.
Yeah, and it's exciting. He's got a whole new group of people to work with.
Yeah.
Something fresh in it.
And I think him and Jericho know that they can really elevate these other companies because the people will come and watch it. They can get eyes on it basically.
The good thing about him going to New Japan as well is it's not just like, you know, when someone comes into WWE and you go like, there's maybe a 10% chance they'll give you a top star title run thing. In New Japan, they're happy for you to come in and win their top belt on your first night.
Yeah.
Just to shake up the status quo. They're happy to go, oh, you know what? You can come in and assault Naito and, you know, like break his face over a chair or whatever and then steal his money in the bank. Like they like to just upset the status quo because it's entertaining. So you never know what's going to happen there. And he's a big enough star.
Yeah, definitely.
Massive star.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
It'd be great.
Excited.
This Saturday is the NXT 25 show.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
I completely forgot it was happening. It wasn't until I looked today to sort of see like what's close and what's coming up that I thought, because I've seen it advertised and I'm seeing little bits of it, but
to me, like, it's just Velveteen Dream, Tyler Breeze. Like,
there's nothing. To be honest with you, I'll say it's not normal for me. Like with NXT, there's nothing on the card that I'm crazily hyped for.
It'll be good though.
Well, it'll be mint. I'm sure it'll be wicked. It's just nothing on there that I'm really like. I've been watching the build up. Really.
Well, there's Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong.
That'll be good.
That's gonna be good.
Then there's the sort of 4-way ladder match for the vacant tag team titles.
Yeah,
which is Danny Burch and Oni Lochran, which they always have good tag matches anyway. Street Profits, Forgotten Sons, and Undisputed Era. Well, with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
That's going to be a great match. Yeah,
Undisputed Era always have good tag matches anyway, title matches anyway. So that would be great. What I was a bit surprised about was Shayna Baszler against. Oh no, actually, this is the first time they've had it. They've had a triple threat match before, but Shayna Baszler against Io Shirai.
Isn't Io Shirai on the?
No, Kairi Sane's on the main card.
Oh, there
she's
we go.
now tagging
Me being a
with
racist. Me being a racist homophobe.
She's tagging with Asuka, isn't she, on SmackDown?
Yeah,
But we've not seen for about 4
Kairi,
weeks. So.
Did she have a? She had like 3 matches with Kairi Sane, didn't she? She had a few because they tossed the title back and forth, didn't they?
Shayna Baszler did, yeah. I think they had like
I'm right.
They had almost like a 5-match series almost. But one of them was the triple threat that had Io Shirai in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be alright.
That'll be pretty good. Then we've got the Velveteen Dream against Tyler Breeze for the North American title.
Can't wait for that.
That'd be good. That promo package was, that sort of in the ring thing was great where Tyler Breeze came in and took a selfie with him and everything. And
smashed him in the face.
When you write your number on your shorts and no one calls you.
Means they don't care. It means no one's interested. Yeah, it's very good.
And then there's the and then Johnny Gargano against Adam Cole for the NXT title.
Yep.
Don't know. For me, hopefully
it's time for Adam Cole to have a full run.
Yeah, and I'd like Undisputed Era to win.
Just win everything. Just win them all.
Because Gargano was having this massive push, weren't he? Where they were putting him on Raw, like the same time that sort of Ricochet and Aleister Black went over there, and then obviously everything happened to Ciampa, and he got pulled and back down he goes almost.
You know what? There's no sponsors for NXT. Let them blade. Because that's the. I was speaking to a mate, and I was like, I still think as good as Double or Nothing was, I still think average takeover puts on better wrestling shows all in, like all around.
I agree.
But his retort was, but they don't blade, so it's not real to me. And I was like, yeah, just let them blade in NXT, and then that'll be the whole package.
They do have sponsors though.
I mean, do they though?
Yeah.
Because it's on the network. It's not on national TV.
Yeah, but they have like.
They still have like.
Oh, they have like Snickers and stuff.
They still have that kind of thing.
I've been them off. Just pay for it yourself.
Papa John's presents.
But
and all that
I mean,
kind of thing.
All In had sponsors, didn't they? Who was sponsoring that?
I'm sure
Double or
they've had
Nothing. I'm sure they had sponsors.
Yeah, might have done. I don't know.
But they're not presented as like a family product, though, are they?
Well, the TV 14, aren't they? And that was what all Double or Nothing.
They need to make NXT TV 14.
Yeah, definitely.
Just scrap the main roster, bring NXT up,
it
and then everyone will be like, I don't care about All Elite Wrestling.
They could.
They could do it.
They won't, but they could.
They won't, but they could.
No.
And it's right there at the fingertips. You could ruin them right away.
Could finish them off.
Like you said earlier, like interesting with some references to them, like Sami Zayn referenced to them. They did that stupid electric chair spot thing with.
That was grim. That.
I mean, what all they've done there is now, because he said like you could have asked me anything, you could have asked me about AEW. Now, if they ever want to do that whole promo thing again, that whole segment with Sami Zayn getting questions, they've all got to be plants now. Yeah, otherwise, people are going to go, are you going to go to AEW? Are you going to go to AEW? What about AEW? What about this?
They'll never do it again. They'll forget it ever happened. The thing that bothers me is like they're not allowed to show a man bleeding in a one-on-one fight contest, which all the kids know it is. It's like, why is that man bleeding, mummy? Oh, because they're fighting. Oh, sound. It's like, what's an electric chair, mummy?
I know,
it's that's the thing they use to kill people who do bad things. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Who signed off on the electric chair?
That's a good question.
I don't understand the purpose of the electric chair.
He's not strapped into it.
No, he weren't.
I don't get why that segment was called that. Yeah, I don't get why it was called that. Like, what was the point in having it there?
I have no idea.
You could have just a normal chair and called it something else.
They could have just called, like, if it's Corey Graves, just call it, I don't know, the Graveyard or something like that. Yeah. And he just sit on a tombstone. And the Undertaker comes in and rattles him for gimmick infringement.
That would be good.
Well, he could do. He's back next week, and he's back on Raw next week for the 1000th time.
Oh my
I love Undertaker, but it's getting a bit boring now, these returns. He's only to wipe his match with Goldberg, innit? Yeah. That's all it'll be there for. Bloody hell.
That's it, innit?
That's pretty much it, yeah. We'll probably talk about the John Moxley Juice Robinson match. So we'll probably put next week's episode out maybe on the Thursday, just so we've got time to talk about it, because it's on the Wednesday when we record.
Yeah.
And we want to.
It'll have happened by the time we record next Wednesday anyway, because like the time difference is like early morning Wednesday for us.
Oh, it might be alright.
Yeah, it might be okay.
That's what it is. Like when like Wrestle Kingdom's on, it's like on at like 9 AM for us, but it's obviously like late night for them. So
yeah, it's crazy times, isn't it?
Is it for the title?
For the US title, yeah, it's at the final of the Best of the Super Juniors.
Makes sense for him to have the US title. Yeah. Get it some good exposure on AEW. Definitely. They'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, wicked.
That was the thing. Like people are saying they've got a bit of a working relationship with them, but I don't think they have. I don't think they've got a.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think they've certainly not like a Ring of Honor New Japan.
Kenny had said that he wanted to bring Kota. Right, it's a weird story, but he wanted to bring Kota Ibushi in.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wept because I couldn't invite him in, even though he wanted to come. I told him there wasn't a job for him because I didn't want to get in the way of him winning the IWGP title, which was his lifelong dream. So it's kind of like, because Kenny's no longer with New Japan, right?
No, his contract ended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I think there is a thing, but there can't be, because if there's a thing where you can't work in New Japan because you signed to AEW, what's the deal with Moxley? Because he can do what he wants. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think the type of deal he has
thing.
is he's working a lot of AEW stuff, but then he's free to go and do lots of independent stuff, which we've seen.
I do what I want.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unlike Pac, which I don't know what's going on with him, because he's been pulled from Fight Fest as well.
Fighter Fest.
Yeah, Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
It's just Dragon Gate don't want him to lose a title, so like.
I think it's the respect he has for Dragon Gate as well. Probably they gave him like his big shot, didn't they? Really,
probably a bit of both
in the early
but,
days.
Dragon Gate don't like their champions losing outside of Dragon Gate.
Fair.
So which
fair
is
enough.
totally fair. I don't blame them. That's the reason why they did that Hangman Page match at WrestleGate.
Yeah.
And they're like a DQ finish because they just don't like him losing anything.
Yeah.
If it's a non-title match.
Yeah.
So.
On that weird point, haven't OTT just announced that Walter and David Starr are having a match?
Yes, they are.
Even though David Starr's supposed to fight Walter in Progress for the title. Like, it's just everything's
stupid.
a mess right now.
Yeah.
It's a right mess. Because if you have either of them two go over, because it's not even for a title, it's for a title shot.
Yeah.
So you're having Walter versus David Starr for a title shot in OTT.
To go against Devlin.
Against Devlin, but then you're having David Starr versus Walter for the Progress title in Progress.
Yeah.
And I just think you're just muddying the water there.
I think we're at a time, aren't they, where all this, I mean, maybe 6-7 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, all these different independent companies wouldn't have had the exposure that they've got, so it wouldn't really have mattered.
No,
whereas now we're in a place
the same matches all over the world, but nobody really knew that it happened because you couldn't really watch it.
Whereas now everyone is so exposed to independent wrestling,
the way it is
it's such a high level now where we're all aware of it. Maybe that's
as somebody as a booker, like as an actual like promotion owner, it makes sense because that is the match that they want to see. So if you got the option to book Starr versus Walter,
if you're running OTT, you're not going to be like, they're having this in Progress.
Exactly. Like, to be fair, like if you're not, I'm not.
I mean, it
you're
kind
not
of
fucks
like Progress over. You kind
of
like,
does,
you know what?
But
we'll
even
give
still,
away.
like, you won't give a.
But
fuck,
it won't be
like,
referenced, will it? That'll be the thing. They're not going to reference.
Like
it.
if I own OTT and I see like that Star's one super strong star and is going to wrestle Walter for the title, I'd be like,
I don't care.
so what? I'm gonna do it as well. I'm gonna do it. All you can do, they can do what they want. I can do what I want.
I do what I want.
Let's just run it on his own.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
It definitely does. So yeah.
That's it.
We'll be back next week.
We will. Hopefully with John Moxley as in IWGP US champion.
If he wins, I'm going to look to buy a replica of that for the crack. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say it now because I need one.
Yeah.
We all need a belt.
It is a nice looking belt, that as well.
It's right nice.
It is a nice looking belt.
Where can you find us, Rob?
So you can see any of our stuff on Staring at the Lights is on Instagram.
There you go.
The Lights Pod on Twitter. RGM.press for anything that we write as well. We've just put a little bit of a double or nothing review kind of up there as well. And also the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Staring at the Lights on YouTube. I'm going to try and use it a bit more because we don't ever use it. So.
Yeah.
Do you have a YouTube?
I mean, we upload the episodes there, don't we? But like, we don't
the
make
episodes
any,
go there.
Actual content for
But
it.
we started to put
I think we should do like with John Moxley doing these like, well, wrestling like Jerry Jones, which I assume will be a death match. We should do some tests of like death.
Yeah,
matches.
we do need
we'll
to
test
test
it on
some
you
of the
then.
gear. You can test it on me.
I'll test.
I've got. I mean, I've had a lot of it before anyway.
Yeah, I've had a chair to the face before, so we can do that again if you want.
Yeah.
I think we should just do it like make a video, just like how bad is it? We'll get some fluorescent tubes and
We'll get some. I think we should get some helmets.
Well, we'll put some goggles on or something. We'll make it a little
we
bit
just need to make it a little bit
conscious,
safer.
aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to buy a football helmet anyway.
Yeah,
just to have one.
let's do it.
Alright.
Well, that'll be on the YouTube channel at some point. You can watch that. Watch
Yeah.
us get hurt because pain brings in views. So.
Daring at the lights.
There you go.
There we go.
I'll do it.
Forfeits.
I'll do it.
Spot on.
Nice one.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.